You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
As is our wont, our monthly dose of the great Greg Evans, he's condescended to come on the last Wednesday podcast of every month, and we're delighted to have him. I think he's back from the Northern Territory up at Bonnie Doon. Shouldn't have mentioned where he lives, or he'll have busloads of people going past the house and wanting autographs and photos. But welcome, Greg, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. Yes, I am back at Bonnie, very small town, Bonnie Doon. Next week it's being carpeted, but that's another story. Now, look, I sit here and it's like Clancy at the Overflow, you know. Visions come to me of Sam. We're up there on the Whitsunday dropping his anchor and dangling his worm, trying to catch a fish.
Yeah.
You are amazing.
I'm back in Melbourne doing this. You understand that, do you?
Well, yeah, I do. But
yeah,
I'm just
back here
saying
for grand final week. But I appreciate that. It's fantastic up there.
You actually did the right thing and actually went out on a chartered fishing tour and learned how to catch a fish, eh?
We went out on a chartered fishing tour with Merv Hughes, who was filming for his Merv Hughes Fishing, and of the 6 professional fishermen who are on the boat, the only person, and if you think this is a lie, you can look at our website called Smart as Sam, Original Smart as Sam. The only person that caught a coral trout was Sue Stanley, yes. OAM.
There you go.
Were they nice and pissed off? They had no vision. They could not put it on because Merv didn't catch it.
Well, I did. I saw that and I thought that was very funny. And good on you, Sue Stanley. That's fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Thanks there, Greg.
Yeah, fisher woman. Yeah, go on. What?
Well, I presume we've just had the big Brownlow dinner last night. And did you watch it?
Yes, I did. I thought it was a fantastic show. I tell you, it has come such a long way. I would like to congratulate Channel 7 for their presentation last night, because what I thought about, first of all, tell me, Sam, when was the last time you went to the Brownlow?
Possibly when I was the captain of Geelong and I had to put the votes up on the board. That's how they did it. When Geelong got a vote, I had to put the little tags up on the board. Pardon?
Yeah, no, I lost you there for a minute, but you're back again now. So, yes.
What did you not hear me say? In fact, if you didn't hear me say it, you wouldn't know what you didn't hear me say.
I wouldn't know you said it. You said when I was back in Geelong, captain of Geelong, and then it went silent.
Oh, sorry. So when I was in Geelong, I think they did the Brownlow counting at the Southern Cross, if I'm not mistaken, and the captains of each of the league sides had little cards with 1, 2, 3, and I had to keep score and put up, when someone got a vote on that, I had to go down the list of players for my team and put up a vote on the hook. That's how they did it in 1975, 4.
That's right. Like they had hooky rings. Like, those
that's it.
I remember that, and you'd remember all of the old World of Sport people were there, and John Elliott would have been there, and they were hanging Lou Richards and hanging hooks on sandwich boards. And hasn't it come a long way?
Oh, wow, it's a marquee event for a very quaint award. Don't forget it's a quaint award because it's given by the umpires.
Well, yeah, it is, but also it's a night to reflect and congratulate footballers for the year. I think they broke it up beautifully, with the goal of the year and other little things to break it up. I thought Angus Brayshaw was just absolutely fantastic in his speech for the retirees of season 2024. Did you see his speech?
Greg, I know you. I turned on for one specific reason, to see what they would do about the welcome to country. I'm not getting you involved in this. And I thought, so they had Uncle Colin lighting a campfire down on a cul-de-sac, a river, telling us why we're so lucky to be here. And that was it. I then turned it off, and I was told in the morning who won. And now I know people say, "Oh, I didn't watch anything," but did you see this? I didn't see any of it after that. I'm on a rant about this. This is just nonsense, and it just goes on and on and on. And
now Now, Sam, I had a Zoom meeting last night and I missed the first hour of it, so I didn't see anything that you're telling me about. I can only saw some of the red carpet, but he was there. I saw him there.
Oh, of course he is. He's up centre. He's square and centre, like there. He's thanking everyone. Don't forget that man who did the rant up in Brisbane and said it's been going on for 250,000 years. That is, of course, an absolute lie. There was nothing here until BC. He called it before Cook. There was nothing here before colonisation. Nothing. And this country is where it is today because everyone got together, blacks, whites, blues, greens, everyone. And we are one country, and I will not be told that I'm welcome to something that was never here in the first place. So don't get involved in that. That's just me. It is just got out of hand, and people have had a gutful of it.
Well, I tell you what, I don't do Facebook, but the Badger does, and apparently everything that you've just told me is all over Facebook, and there's a lot of people who agree with what you say, and they've just had enough.
And people misconstrue that as not being respectful. I am extremely respectful to those people who were here, but please don't tell us we owe them anything. There was nothing here before, and we have helped grow with them, and we want to be united and one country under one flag and enjoy everyone's company, not the AFL keep dividing us by this nonsense they go on with, and it gets bigger and bigger, and they only realise they're being cringeworthy and pissing off the public. So anyhow...
it's very
annoying.
Good. Well, you've got that off your chest. I hope Sue Stanley's got some Vicks Vapor up there for you. Rub that on your chest tonight and get a few other things.
Seeing as we're on the Brownlow, Greg, I see Rebecca Madden has taken a belting for interviewing Jamie Elliott saying you're going to Las Vegas, and if you do, don't put it on Instagram and come home alive. How could you get into trouble for that? Because is that some reference, or so they've connected that to the poor unfortunate lad who died over there? I think on one trip over there.
Yep.
And if you could think Rebecca Madden would be likening it to that, she was just surely saying, "Take it easy. We don't want you to come home in a body bag because you've revelled or." I don't know, had revelry and merriment too hard. How seriously could anyone complain about anything else that's going on the planet?
Well, I thought Rebecca Madden did an absolutely sterling job.
She's a star.
She looked fabulous. She was comfortable. She was relaxed, and she was terrific. And I'm absolutely certain, knowing Rebecca, and you know her better than I, but absolutely certain there would be nothing meant like people are trying to portray. People have said she should be sacked. That is absolute rot, absolutely ridiculous. I also thought Hamish McLaughlin did a terrific job too. He, again, was very comfortable and very relaxed and brought something out of the players that, it must be hard for footballers to get up there on stage and that's not what they do best. What they do best is out on the football field, and to have someone guide them through and bring out potentially the best in them on an awards night like that, I thought he did a great job, but he's been slammed as well.
Why has he been slammed?
I reckon that he talked too much.
Oh, my God. There's that great saying. One of the, I think it was one of the presidents of the United States who said, it's not the critic who counts, it's not the man who cries. You remember that? It's not the man in the arena. It's the man who... It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who tells how it should be done or it could be done. The credit belongs to the man in the arena whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives violently, who errs and comes short again and again because there's no effort without effort or shortcoming, who knows the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, and who knows at best in the end the high ideals of triumph. And if he fails while daring greatly, knows his place will never be with those timid souls who know neither victory or defeat. That's the critic, the person who never gets into the arena, just sits on the lounge on their fat ass and carps.
Yeah, sorry, mate, I missed that. Can you do that again?
No,
mate, that is, yes, I understand.
Yep.
That is exactly right. And that's why I don't have anything to do with Facebook, because there's just, well, for a start, you can't believe anything you read on it. Did you see that just prior to the telecast starting, there was Facebook saying that there was a Nick Dacos Brownlow medal presentation what do you call it? A picture, perhaps memorabilia on the AFL website.
They bought it out prematurely.
Congratulating Nick Dacos on winning the 2024 Brownlow medal. It was up on the AFL website, and it was whipped down just before the telecast started. Now that was reported on the news, Sam. I have no idea whether that's true or not. I have no idea whether the AFL put that up on their website. If they did, do they make up, do they do it like Week's cartoon for the grand final? Do they make 2 or 3 of these memorabilia things so they can have them on a website the next morning? But you cannot believe things that you read on the internet. You must not ever take them seriously. Some things are true, some things are not true. Or the new word, of course, is
AI.
AI.
I've got Donald Trump. I've got Donald Trump. Bloke sent me this, saying Sam Newman's podcast. You cannot be serious, and I've watched it, and if you can see that it's not real, it is extraordinary what they can. And the bloke said we can put any words in his mouth, and he will speak. He'll speak to you. He'll say, "I know Greg Evans. He's a great man." It is extraordinary. And that's going to be, you're going to be lumbered with things that you never said, and the more you deny it, thou protesteth too much.
Yes, yeah. Well, there's a few of those floating around at the moment too, and it's hard to pick them. But just before we get off the Brownlow, Patrick Cripps. Now, 45 votes, Sam. That would never have happened in the days of the hooky rings.
No,
45 votes for one person. My God. How outstanding. And so you didn't see it, so let me tell you that as the season progressed, he kept getting 3 votes, 3 votes, 3. It just kept going up and up. Nick Dacos was on his heels, of course, but nevertheless a magnificent winner, second time round now, and 29 years of age. He got up on stage, Sam. He spoke beautifully, eloquently. He talked about young people coming up through the ranks and how they're inspired by Brownlow medalists and the responsibility that he has and that other recipients have in putting across a great future and a great outlook for young, inspiring people. It makes me think that the AFL as a whole are starting to treat their players to show a lot more respect than perhaps they did 20 or 30 years ago.
Making them role models.
Yes.
Now,
and I think, and this man is a great role model for the Carlton Football Club, Patrick Cripps, and for the AFL. Now, he's terrific and great. I
was at the Carbine Club today. Eddie Maguire asked me, and they inducted 2 people into the Carbine Club Hall of Fame. One was Glenn Archer, and the other was Razor Ray Chamberlain. And Ray, the umpire, was fantastic. He was articulate and was humorous and said it was a great honour. And he said, because Eddie asked him, how do you select the Brownlow votes after a game? Which I didn't realise how they did that. I thought they all put their votes into a thing and then they took them out and added them up. He said no. He said the 4 umpires get together and they have a good, long, hard session and talk about who they think was best, second best and third best on the ground. And when they come to a consensus, they give that person the 3 votes and that's how it's done. And he said it's very seriously done and it's very hard to differentiate between someone who has not many kicks and not many hand passes but negates one of the stars of the game like Patrick Cripps. If someone holds Patrick Cripps to a handful of kicks and a couple of marks, do you give that person the votes because he did a job, or do we get people who are spectacular and under the notice of the umpires? He said it's a very difficult job.
Now, take Isaac Heaney for a start, the Sydney superstar, and now he had the big X against his name, of course. He was ineligible to win. Tell me this, would the umpires after the game know that he cannot win a Brownlow because he is ineligible? Would they still give him votes? Or would they say, no, we better not give Heaney anything because he can't win anyway?
It's a very good point, Greg. If the umpire had reported him or that's one thing because it's the fairest and best. But if the tribunal or Michael Christian had reviewed it after and decided that he should be suspended or sanctioned or fined, that's an extremely. I would think that they would give the votes no matter what. And then if he's ineligible, that's if they thought he was fair, if he'd shown dissent or the umpire had reported him on the ground, that's different. But if they didn't know, they'd give him the votes, and then if he won, they would. As soon as he was suspended, they'd still give the votes, but they'd say he's ineligible to win. Imagine if Matthew Cripps, what's his name, Patrick Cripps, had got 45 votes, and at the end of it, they said, well, he can't win. He's got a cross beside his name. Then it just degenerates into a fucking bun fight.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, but fortunately for Isaac Heaney, he wasn't up there to get it. So Patrick was right out there by himself, and I think Nick Dacos, he must have been very disappointed. But and if that's true, that the AFL did have that memorabilia on their website, if it's true. Then word might have got back to Nick and said, hey, the AFL's got your mate, you're in, you're a shoo-in, you're a winner. And then right down to the last moment, Patrick Cripps just surged away in the last few moments and ended up with 45 votes. So, yes, a controversial night, but just getting back to Angus Brayshaw, by gosh, he spoke so well about retiring players and players that are, forced with concussion to leave the game, and gave some great advice. You could have heard a pin drop. And
Mark Brayshaw's son, and of course, Mark and James is his uncle, isn't he?
Uncle.
Yep.
Yes, he is. Yeah, a lovely guy is Angus, and obviously doing it pretty tough, having been forced to retire due to the head injury. Made $50,000 for the goal of the year and the mark of the year. Did you hear about those?
I saw replays at the Carbine Club today.
Oh, yes.
I think I saw replays.
You caught up everything at the Carbine Club
today. Well, just those things. I didn't watch the game there. They didn't replay the game, but I saw those two things.
What did Eddie think about the Brownlow medal?
Well,
telecast? Being on a different channel.
Yes, I didn't ask him about that. I would think he's pretty magnanimous with his praise. I would think they thought he did it well.
Did you ask Eddie about Caroline Wilson?
Yes, he said, she and Corns, and he said they've got footy classified on either tonight or tomorrow night. He said, not sure who's turning up. He said, I haven't been told yet, might be just me. And so they're all deserting ship and jumping up for the better offer, so it'll be interesting to see how all that goes. How Caroline is still on air is beyond me for some of the mistakes she makes, but people overlook all that.
Well, she's got to cool her heels. She's not allowed to appear on Channel 7 for 6 months when she gets there, apparently. Some sort of a contractual deal. So she'll be, that's where she's
Let's hope she's forgotten by the time the 6 months is up.
I wonder if she was at the Brownlow. I didn't see her on the red carpet, fashions on the field. But by gosh, Sam, if you had seen it, some of the costumes were absolutely outstanding, and credit goes to the players' girlfriends and wives. Some of them, I'm not even sure whether they were on the inside trying to get out or the outside trying to get in of their dresses. But there were some good fashions, and I think all up, with that, the fashions, the red carpet fashions, and the integration of Mark and goal of the year, and what Angus did, and other little highlights to break it up. And then the very fast reading of the because really it's a count, isn't it? And somehow they made it a really prestigious night last night.
And who read out the votes?
Yeah, well, that was the head of the AFL.
Was he good?
Yeah, he was good. He did a real good job. He was Andrew Dillon was reading the votes.
Oh, Andrew Dillon did it, did he? Yep.
Yeah. And I think he read them fast and quick, and he didn't stumble over any of them, so that all worked pretty well. I thought it was really, really a good, television event.
Well, a good start for the. I don't care who says this. This is a fact. The oxygen has been sucked out of this city. 2 interstate sides. It'll be a sellout because it's a theatre goers production, the grand final. But to not have the emotion and the tribalism of a couple of Melbourne sides playing, even one Melbourne side playing, has sucked the oxygen out of the city. I don't care what anyone says. It'll be maybe a great game. I don't know if it'll be a great game, but let's hope it is. But
it'll be a great game.
It's been, to
so
not have all the people.
Now, hang on. Why wouldn't it be a great game? You've got the two best teams in the comp playing off.
Well, it just depends how they play it. If they chip the ball around and kick it backwards and forwards all day, and then drive it into the forward line, and because all the people are flooded back, and the opposition repel it back up, and it starts again. If someone decides to take the game on and just to take a chance that someone up forward might be good enough to get it on their merits, that'll make a great game. And if the umpires don't go overboard and try and pay every pedantic, stupid kick, because every time someone goes for the ball, Greg, there is a virtual free kick. It is not necessary to pay them.
Yes. Sam, will you be going to the grand final?
Not even if I thought it would solve world hunger.
Jesus, really? You'll be going.
Are you
back
going?
To the boat. No, I'm not going. No.
Why not? You're not interested in world hunger?
No, I am interested in world hunger, and I am interested in the grand final. I didn't get a Guernsey.
What do you mean?
Well, I haven't been invited, and I can't get a ticket, so I'm not going to the grand final.
You can't get a ticket.
I will be watching it on television, Sam.
Well, you made me feel sad.
I mean, it's easy for you to get a ticket because you're a star and a legend, but I'm a nothing, so I don't get privileged to get tickets anymore. Melbourne Football Club used to look after me, but not these days.
Well, there you are. See, that's just how insincere is that?
Mate, I went to another pretty good event last week, and it had nothing to do with football, but it has a fair bit to do with television. Do you want to know about it?
Well, Greg, what a loaded question that is. Well, let's just take that. Let's just take that answer. Let's just take that to its logical extension. No, I don't want to hear about it.
Right.
Right. Move on to your next topic.
Very good.
Now, go on, please.
No, well, I tell you, it was an event in Sydney, and it was the memorial of Reg Grundy, Sir Reginald Grundy, and his wife, Joy Chambers Grundy.
Is he Sir?
Yes.
Is he?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, he was, because he died. He died in May of 2016 at his home in Bermuda.
Yep.
But and sadly, Joy, his wife of 46 years, she died in September of last year. So, but mate, Reg Grundy, let's go right back to the beginning of television. It started in this country when, in 1956.
Yep.
Yeah, you were around watching.
My word.
The Tarax Juniors. And all.
I watched the Olympic Games on it.
Yeah, Lorraine Crapp. I saw her on the Astor TV
in the pool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, so there along comes Reg, and he started off his career. I just saw some similarities. I started my career at Myer Melbourne, and then went to radio. Reg started at David Jones as a spruiker on the floor, and then went to radio to 2SM. And in 1959, he wanted to spin a wheel, like, the spinning wheel, the lucky wheel, on radio. And they said, no, it won't work. But it did. And then in 1959, television was around. So he said, I'm going to take this wheel and I'm going to put it on TV. And they said, what, you're going to spin a wheel and give away prize? That won't work. And that was Wheel of Fortune. And Reg Grundy invented it, and he sold it all over the world, and he had the rights to it. It's still played in the United States every day of the week.
Yep.
And that was the first. And Reg Grundy then went on to make over 400 television shows. And so at this event that I went to last Sunday week in Sydney, Tracy Grimshaw hosted it. Alan Jones spoke highly of Reg and Joy. Annette Allison was there. Barry Crocker was there. So it was a star-studded cast, and a lot of the members of Prisoner were in the audience. And Stephen Dennis performed. I thought of you. He sang the Frank Sinatra hit My Way, but he sang it their way. They did it their way, which was beautifully performed. And in consideration, there were so many stars in the room. He did a pretty good job. There were graduates
You were one
there
of them?
I hosted 3 or 4 of Reg Grundy's shows. Perfect Match was a Grundy television production.
You might have been his biggest star.
Well, he was fantastic. I had some things to do with him in the beginning. He came out to Australia. He congratulated me on the show, Sam. But in the initial early stages of Perfect Match, when we were formulating it, all the audition tapes, rehearsal tapes were all sent to him overseas. He even got down to, the colour of my jackets and decided that bow ties were okay. And he was really that hands-on, fully hands-on.
Were you acknowledged at the function for being just the star that he liked and picked out?
No, mate. No, I was just a nobody sitting up there in
you weren't.
But the shows were just a couple, just to remind you of some of Grundy television shows. He actually did Bandstand, and a lot of people wouldn't.
Brian Henderson.
We remember Bandstand, but we wouldn't remember it as a Grundy television production, but it was. He did The Great Temptation, Concentration, Prisoner, Sale of the Century, Perfect Match, Neighbours, Sons and Daughters, Blankety Blanks, Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, Blind Date, Chopper Squad, Celebrity Squares, The Price is Right. And they're just a few, Sam.
Wow. That's extraordinary. So the function was to celebrate the 2 lives after his charming wife, whatever her name is. What is it?
Joy
passed away. They said we'll do a joint memorial to the great organisation that was Grundy's.
There was Grundy's. Now, they were inseparable. They married. It's funny. It came up there in the event that he was auditioning for a hostess for Wheel of Fortune, and they auditioned 300 girls, and she got the job. And so he came to her afterwards at the audition, and he said, "There's one thing I'd like you to do for me." She said, "What?" He said, "Would you come out and have dinner with me?" And that started in 1971. They got married and started a 46-year relationship.
I would say, Greg, that is classically the scenario. That is an offer you can't refuse. If Reg Grundy has picked you out of 300 Sheilas and you're to be the host, I reckon if he asks you out to dinner, you're probably going to say yes, or you're not going to get the job.
Well, she said yes, and she got the gig and probably some other things as well. And they were inseparable, known around the world. They were, no matter what they did together. She was a remarkable author and writer. She wrote several books, I think 8 or so substantial novels. She was an accomplished historian and a biographer. And,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How long has the euphemism crap been represented a piece of poo? How long has that crap been in the vernacular? Would you think it's been around when Lorraine Crap was around? Wouldn't you think Lorraine Crap might change her name to Lorraine Crop or Creep or Crape or was it just come in since?
I would say since.
Since 1956.
Do you reckon I don't think the word crap would have been around as we know it today in 1956.
Okay. How did it come to prominence? Well, I know you won't know that, but yeah.
I'm not sure how that. But remember, once upon a time, Walt Disney had not created Donald Duck, and there were several people running around in the United States with the name Donald Duck, and they were living a perfectly happy lifestyle until Walt Disney came along, and then all of a sudden their life was hell because he invented a duck called Donald. And so I'm sure that there's more than Lorraine Crap that are subject to...
I'll tell you a name that dropped off the radar about 1945. Yeah. Adolf.
Yes, that's true.
Not a lot of people today are christened Adolf. Adolf Evans, Adolf Newman.
Thank goodness. And you don't see too many people these days called Jesus.
They don't. They call it Jose or Huses or Husus, or do they call people just Jesus?
Well, who knows what was happening back then?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, that could have been a common name like Jack.
Yeah,
couldn't it?
And a lot of people are called Christ. Like, how'd you be if you called Jesus Christ? How'd you be going in for a job? What's your name? Jesus Christ. Did you say Jesus Christ? No, I said Christ.
Well,
the I is silent, as in Messiah.
That's right. Now, there used to be a Channel 9 News reporter. You'd remember her. Her name was Hillary Roots. And she tagged all of her stories every night with Peter Hitchener as Hillary Roots for National 9 News. Now, so you don't change your name. You just got to live with it.
Yeah, well, what about...
Did you ever meet Hillary Roots?
No. No, I didn't. What about, people like cock, the word, so people call themselves Kosh and Co and Kook and...
That's right.
What's the lass that does the Nightline on 3AW, the doctor?
Yes.
What's her name? Sally Ann Cock. What's it? Is that her?
No, Sally...
Coburn.
Cockburn. That's right. She's
She's
Cockburn. So she calls herself Coburn. The CK is silent, as in sex.
Well, if it was spelt Cockburn, you'd want the K to be silent, wouldn't you? So
well, it is spelt that way.
Yes, I know it is.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, you said no. You got to roll with it.
Would you call her Cockburn? You'd call her Coburn.
I know, because that's what she prefers. But you said if your name's like Hillary Roots and you say that's what it is. You're stuck with it. Lorraine Crap. Yeah, God, I'd like to see them get together for lunch. We've got Sally Cockburn, Hillary Roots, and Lorraine Crap here at this table, and anyone else that,
Now, how did we get onto this? All to do with Reg. I thought you were going to go into the Reg Grundies, as in undies. You know,
that's right. The Reg Grundies. You've pooped your undies. Oh, you've pooped your Reg's.
And what's his name? Barry Crocker was there too, and of course he's got one too. Barry Crocker, it's a shocker.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. I had a Barry today.
I had a Barry.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a Barry. Kevin Wilson sort of did a variation on that. I've had a Barry of a day, but anyway, that's another story. But so Reg was included in the list of 100 most influential Australians ever.
Oh, that's clear. In that 100, he'd have to be up there. He'd have to he'd have to be further down the list than that, wouldn't he?
I don't know who else would be on that list of the 100.
Who would be the other 99?
Yeah, the 100 most influential Australians ever.
Yeah, I reckon Captain Cook would be up there.
You reckon?
Well, he started it all off, didn't he?
I reckon Eddie would be on that list, don't you?
Absolutely, and deserving. How hasn't Eddie? We had this conversation before. Has Eddie ever won a individual Logie, not the footy show, on himself?
Yeah.
How wouldn't he have won a Logie? Seriously,
he should have. He should have had a gold Logie. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
now,
no doubt.
Now, all right, and now just a little. I just want to ask you a little bit of film work. You came to me and you said we're going to be film stars. We're going to fly to Hollywood and we're going to camp out in Las Vegas, and we've got star treatment. What has happened to the film? What's happened to the film? Is it going ahead, and what's it called?
Sue Stanley, you there? What's it called, Sue? I don't think we're allowed to say what it's
right.
called.
Well, just because we can't think of it, we'll say we're not allowed to think of it.
No, we're not allowed. No, seriously, there's a lot of things.
It could be called Is It On?
I don't think it is.
And who was the star? I know who you told me off air, but I won't tell it. Who is the person that they're trying to get to play the lead?
Well, there's several people that are interested, Sam.
Well, what about the very big Hollywood name?
I can't tell you. I'm not allowed to say.
Well, so could we talk about the film? Where's it got to?
We can talk about the fact that you're in it.
Well, what am I in it doing with you? What are we doing?
I can't
clearing tables or...
Now listen, this is an Australian comedy, and think about The Castle, right?
Yeah.
An iconic Australian comedy, which was just something that over the years has become a part of Australian history. People make quotes out of it. Well, this is what this film's a little bit like. It's a comedy situation, and there's a lot of names of people in Australia making small cameo appearances, of which you and I, and I think Dougie Hawkins is going to be making an appearance in this as well. Mm-hmm. And so is the madman from the block. Danny Wallace, he's going to make an appearance.
Have we been given a fee that we might be forthcoming, or are we just doing it gratis?
Yes. No, not gratis. No, we're being paid. We are being paid handsomely, Sam. Is
the man? Are they trying to get the man who made? Are they trying to get a Hollywood? I think he might be an Australian. Are they trying to get the Hollywood star who was in a couple of movies there with?
They'd be
Mr. Glover.
They'd be mad if they didn't, wouldn't they?
Can we mention his name?
Well, we'd be mad if we did. But he does have a production company, and
not the Lethal Weapon man.
And man, we don't want to get anyone mad, so we
How much were we getting?
Heaps.
What a day, or just all up? Do we have fluffers?
How would you like to be paid? Would you like to be paid by the hour, or by the day, or by the minute?
Yeah, I got a feeling by the minute it'd be good, because when they see how we go, they might say, thanks very much, there's the door.
Well, as long as we might hit the cutting room for you.
Would we have a caravan with fluffers in it and makeup people?
We will. No. I'm putting that in the rider of your contract that you have to have a caravan.
When do you think the shooting starts?
February, perhaps.
February.
Where?
No, I'm laughing at February.
I tell you, when you make a film in Australia, there are two great places to make it. One of them is Western Australia, where Sam Neill makes a lot of his appearances as well. By the way, Sam Neill, he's got a book out called "Did I Ever Tell You This?" and it's a great read too. Have you seen The 12?
No.
The 12 is a series on. I think it's on Foxtel, and it's about the 12 members of a jury.
Yes, I was going to say a jury.
And Sam Neill is the
foreman.
No, he's not in the jury. He's a barrister or a QC or a KC, and he works for usually the defendant. And so, but the series is about the 12. So Sam Neill is. He does his stuff a lot of that's all shot in Western Australia. That's one great place. The other great place is Queensland, because those two governments offer great incentives for you to come and make your pictures there. New South Wales is good, but Victoria's got no money, so they don't offer much.
Now, Greg, before we run out of time, I've got some very important questions I need to ask you. We fly down from Proserpine. Now, you're allowed to carry, there's no classes. It's not first, it's just squashed in like sardines, and that's fair enough.
Yes. Is this a plane with propellers or what?
No, it's got turbines on it, jets.
Yes.
It's either Jetstar or Virgin.
Yes.
And so you can carry 7 kilograms of hand luggage. Right. So you weigh that diligently. I'm travelling with Sue Stanley, OAM. Sue, I think, weighs, I don't put her on the spot, maybe about 45 or 50K, 45, but 47K she weighs.
Wow.
And she's allowed to carry 7 kilograms of luggage. Now, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to do the maths. That's about 54K she occupies on the plane. She got on the plane and sat next to a porker who must have weighed 140 pounds. He couldn't get his ass in between the two armrests. And he could carry 7 kilograms of luggage. Could you tell me how do they work that out? We nearly had to stow. She might have had 8 kilograms of luggage. I had to take some luggage out of hers and put it in mine just to balance it all up. And this bloke got on. He would have weighed, with his luggage, 150 kilograms.
Jesus. Did he have a seatbelt extender?
I don't think they even checked. He was squashed that hard in. He was squashed that hard into the seat. It wouldn't. If the thing had hit a mountain, he would have stayed bolt upright in the seat.
Oh, poor Sue.
And now, what about this? So, anyhow, there was a group of 30 travellers. They looked as though they were visitors. So you'll just, I won't go any further than that. They looked like they were just visiting Australia.
Yes.
And halfway through this hour and a half flight, I heard rustling. And I look across. I'm on the aisle, and Sue's on the aisle, and these international visitors. Obviously, they were international. You could tell they were international visitors. Yes. I won't explain that anymore. So hear this rustling, and there was 30 of them, and they managed They proceeded then to take out packages of food that they had bought onto the thing, and they took the plastic tops off them. There was yogurt and dips and biscuits. And they passed them around the 30 people. And the smell of the food opening and the chomping I thought, what could you not go for an hour and a half with having to actually take on water and sustenance to get you through the flight? And everyone was not game because, they put an announcement over, say, we respect everyone's integrity, and please don't cause any scenes or the police will be called, and, pay respect to the staff. Fair dinkum. I said, mate, would it be possible to put the top on the food? You're smelling the plane out. Couldn't you drive for an hour and a half without having to fill your gob up? They passed them over the top of the seats and back to one another. This is what's known in the industry as ignorance.
Yes.
No.
So obviously you didn't do a welcome to country for them.
No, well, they weren't those. They were.
No, I understand. But then the smell of the food. Look, I totally agree with you. It's annoying. It's as bad as annoying as when you go and see a movie and someone opens a bag of chips in your ear and they crunch the chips all the way through the movie.
The phone goes. So I wouldn't have thought you're allowed to bring your own food and drink onto a plane.
Well, you're allowed to because they don't serve it on a lot of flights these days.
Well, they do, but you've got to pay for it.
Yeah, that's right. So you're allowed to bring your own. But I agree with the smell. It's awful. Doesn't it get back to manners?
That's exactly right.
You and I would have more manners than to open smelly food sitting next to a stranger on a plane. I wouldn't do it.
Well done. What about the man who weighed 150 allowing 7 kilograms of luggage? Where does that sit with the fact that we might have to stow our luggage because it's about a quarter of his weight?
Yes. So it's 7 kilos of hand luggage, is it?
Yes.
And they actually weighed you, did they? You had to swap.
Well, they don't. They have a little thing there that you're meant to put your bag in and see if it fits.
Yeah,
they generally now are weighing all hand luggage. So some flight they might just do everyone. They put a bag check on it. And then people, if they are 8 kilos, then they have to put that luggage underneath. So we only had one bag. So we just I knew one we were sort of right on because we had to take the roadcast down for the podcast. Yeah. So I thought, well, I'll take one out and it would be definitely under. So Sam had to carry one thing. And it was just, if I had been 1 kilo over, my baggage would have gone under, and then someone else could.
This bloke got on. You could have shown home movies on his underpants. They could have hung his underpants up down the plane, and everyone could have watched home movies on them. It was extraordinary. I don't know if he went to the Kazi how he'd go. He wouldn't get one cheek of his arse on it.
You should have swapped seats with Sam, Sue. Put him next to the big man.
Fuck me. Him sweating all over me. Now, I've got just a couple of quick things. Now, I noticed, Greg, Anthony Albanese. Could you tell me this? He went in and had a monkeypox shot. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
He had a vaccine.
Monkeypox?
Yes. Do you know?
Where did he
have it? I suppose in his arse. I don't know.
Now, is this before America or before?
Maybe he's been over there. He had a monkeypox shot. Monkeypox is, although they won't admit it, is predominantly a gay disease. That if you read it, it tells you that in the last sentence of all the blurb on it, because they don't want to appear to be, homophobic or anything. But that's what it is. Monkeypox. Why would it be? Because he went over to America and they're worried about getting monkeypox over there at the United Nations. You can't answer that, can you?
No, well, I've no idea why. I didn't know that. I didn't know what monkeypox was.
Well, it's a disease that people have been having sex with monkeys.
Oh no!
Well, that's how they fraternize. That's what it. You read about it.
It just got diagnosed, or what is it? What do they say? In South Australia, they've just found about 3 cases or something.
Yeah, 3 cases of monkeypox.
My God. The things you learn on this podcast.
Whether they're right or not. Well, what about this? Now, this is a serious matter. Do you remember? No.
What am I going to learn now?
Well, I want your opinion on this. And I've got to be very careful in case we misrepresent this. A driver who was a diabetic in Daylesford drove into a shop because he was down on sugar. Now, he hadn't monitored his sugar intake, this is what it said, and he went into what did he go into? So
diabetic coma.
A diabetic coma because he hadn't monitored his sugar level, and he ploughed into a shop and killed 4 people. He got off. I just don't understand if that is. I don't understand that if you don't monitor your illness and you haven't done that, and you go into a coma as a result of it, how can that not be negligible?
Mate, I totally agree. 5 people are dead. He ran into to a park outside a hotel where the diners and the people from the hotel were enjoying a lovely afternoon and smashed into them. Now, this didn't go to trial. This is where a magistrate has said, no, we're not going to take this one to court because there's not a strong enough case. In other words, the prosecutors did not have a strong enough case to win. So the judge said, therefore, I'm going to throw it out before it starts because haven't got enough evidence there to win this case, so we're not even doing it.
So, Sue,
I don't quite understand why you wouldn't take it to court anyway and let that thing play out.
So, Sue, as I understand it, Sue, if you don't monitor, it's your responsibility to monitor your health. And was he negligent in not doing that, or did it just creep up on him and he should have realised, or wasn't he monitoring himself, or what?
Well,
you understand
my endocrinologist always says that you should be testing your blood sugar every time you get in a car and out a car, and many times when you're doing things during the day, because your blood sugar level goes up and down. However, the new systems now, they've got those things, white patches on their arms, so we've got a sensor, and they have alarms and alerts. But the issue is that if he ignored the warning signs, then he would have been in trouble, so he didn't action it. So therefore, how do you prove that he ignored it? That's probably where they're coming from.
Well, I agree with you, Greg. You'd think you might test this seeing 5 people are not on the planet anymore. You might test it in a court of law, mightn't you?
I would.
Don't wish him any ill if he has a legit. But surely, if you're one of the families of one of the 5 people, you'd like to know if someone should have been monitoring their health.
Responsible for something. Well, they're devastated. The other thing is he was charged with 20 different offences, wasn't he? Negligible driving, etc., etc. They were all thrown out. Every single charge.
That is one of the staggering things, unless we've missed something.
Because they said he couldn't be responsible when he got in the car. He wouldn't have known what he was doing. Well, I agree with you. Why did he get in the car? Well, he wouldn't have known he shouldn't have got in the car, and so it goes back to chicken before the egg sort of thing. But he went to a bottle shop before he got in the car. But he did. They've got CCTV, but it was too busy, so he left the bottle shop and then got in the car and rolled down the hill. And I'm paraphrasing it, but that's sort of what happened, according to the reports. I think that I don't think we've heard the end of this one, Sam.
You think it might be appealed?
I think there'll be lawsuits. I think
yes.
I think the people
Civil
will take
action.
further action. Yeah.
Now, someone told me this. Greg, tell me what Tats Lotto comes out, and you can look to see if you win, and there's about every week there's about 30 people win, or 40, 60 people win Division 3 because they get 3 numbers. About 60 people win Division 4. Why does one person suddenly pick every now and again the 6 numbers and wins $22 million? I spoke to someone and they said it was rigged. They couldn't rig it, could they?
No.
Well, why can 60 people get 4 numbers? And wouldn't you think the possibility of with more than 2 million to 1, someone getting 6 numbers every now and again, that must be more percentage chance of winning if all those people can get 3 and 4 numbers? Why can't they get 6?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all mathematics, isn't it? But the thing is, what I worry about is that one person takes the big pot and you can get 1 number less and you get bugger all.
That's my point.
It goes down so
exponentially.
Yeah, but then how come the 30 or 40 people would win the next one down, and then it goes up, and then there's, say, 400 or 4,000 that win the third, and then there's fourth prize, and there's 36,000. How do you know those numbers are going to come out? Yeah.
Well, it's mathematics. What is it? 1 in so many million chances of all the numbers coming up. Did you know that in South Australia you've got to collect that money within 1 year? Otherwise, it goes back to the lottery people.
Really?
Now, I know we've mentioned this before, Greg, but there's a great true story called Jerry and Marge Go Large. This is absolutely true, how this bloke worked out how by winning Division 4, it was just as profitable as winning the actual jackpot, and he ended up buying I know, you've just got to watch it, it's a true story. He did nothing illegal, and they changed the rules in the end because he was spending, at one stage, $600,000 on tickets, and he had a garage full of the actual stubs, and after every drawing, and he ended up, he came from a town which was down on its feet in the Rust Belt in America, and he got people to join him. He said it's foolproof, and he won in excess of $38 million, and he shared it. He shared it with all the people. It is a fascinating story, and he did nothing illegal by just winning minor prizes, but he had to go interstate to buy all the tickets. They ran out of tickets and then he said, so he went to the next state and bought them, and he worked out that this is how you'd beat the system.
Now, what's it called again?
Jerry and Marge Go Large.
All right, I'll have a look at that.
No, it's fantastic, and he's a lovely man, and he did nothing illegal, and he rescued the town. They were so grateful, and they made him a hero. And the Tats Lotto board or the Lotto board actually said, "Well done." They didn't care. He was buying all the tickets. They didn't care until they realised that they were being scun.
Gee. Well, just quickly a follow up on that South Australian one. They've got till Friday of this week. It's $1 million prize, and it wasn't a registered ticket. And in South Australia, you've got 1 year to collect, and if you don't, bang, the South Australian lotteries take that money back as theirs. So this Friday, it runs out. It's 1 year this Friday. And you'd reckon that, would you buy an unregistered ticket? I suppose.
If we buy them, we buy unregistered tickets. But
do you?
Well,
what if it falls out of your pocket? The other thing is if you stick it in a birthday card and send it to someone, and then someone gets the birthday card and thinks, that won't win, and throws it in the top drawer, and bingo. You should always register the ticket.
All right. Well, for the very few times I buy them, we'll do that, Greg.
Yeah, well,
I'll tell you this is a true story. So I'll just tell you, we're up at, we'll finish on this. This is true. Sue says she's mouthing. You really going to say this? So we go into
what's coming?
We buy something at the supermarket, and we walk by. This is in Cannon Vale, and we had a little loose change, about $78 loose change left. And as we're going past, I go into the newsagent, and I said, I want $50, $10 scratchies, and we'll have a Tats Lotto draw for this coming week or something.
It's five $10 batteries, scratchies, which works out to be $50 worth, not 50 by 10.
Yeah. Oh, I see. $50 worth, and they were $10 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we buy them, I buy them, and with the change left over, there's about $24 or something, and I added, I think, another 20. I said, give us a pick 52 or something on, fuck if I know, and that spat it out, and the bloke said, good luck. So we put them in the shopping trolley that we'd had the food in.
Yep.
We walked out. By the time we got to the car, which was in the car park, which was 50 metres away, I said, where are the tickets? And she said, I thought you had them. We lost the tickets between walking out of the supermarket and getting to the car. And I went back to the woman who sold us the tickets. I said, we've lost the tickets. What do you reckon? She said, really? She said, look, I'll tell you what, give us your phone number. If anyone hands them in, I'll let you know. Yeah. Would anyone hand them in, you reckon?
No.
Yeah, so that's our experience at the newsagent with Tat Slaughter. And I gave them to her. She's sitting there and she's blushing. 50 metres they lasted. Someone could have won $40 million. And we set them up and they're living in the Bahamas, thanks to us.
So you didn't even get a chance to have a scratch together, eh?
We've done a lot of scratching, but it ain't beating tickets. Now, Greg?
Yep. So register your ticket next time. One quick thing before we go. On I think it's Netflix, a murder mystery, Perfect Couple is the name of it.
Yes,
it's really a
seen that. That's the bloke who used to be in Ray Donovan and our Australian girl. Kidman. Yes.
Did you pick the?
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, watch it.
It's a bit like the Brownlow. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, righto, mate.
Now, finally, Greg, I'll tell you this. Ian Cook. He is. This is one of the disgraceful things in this state. He is standing for the Dandenong Council in the seat of Yarraman ward. He sent a letter because he got thrown out of business dishonestly and unscrupulously, and he wrote to the council and they said, have you seen why I'm suing you? They have not been informed why he's taking action against them. So he said, bugger it, I'm going to stand for the council. And he has been roundly run out of business dishonestly by the federal, state and local councils. And I'm just saying this, if you want to back corruption, if you want to back the scrapping of corruption in local councils, you should vote for Ian Cook in the Yarraman ward because he's standing in the Dandenong Council, who have been so dishonest and disgraceful. They've run him out of business because they wanted to put their own community chef, public-run company in instead of him, and they dishonestly put a slug in his business and said it was unhealthy and hygiene wasn't up to standard, and he has been routed out of business. So I hope he gets in to Yarraman, the ward.
Yes, I met Ian Cook. I met him with you, and I hope that he gets in as well, because that would be really good to see him on that council.
Greg, you have been and still are a star, and thank you so much, my man.
Sam, if I had it to do all over again, I would do it all over you.
And cheers to the Badger.
Thank you, mate.
All the best.